Hey everybody, it's Kneecap here, and in this video we're going to be talking about the Primordial Stones and the bit of an uh-oh Blizzard made regarding these. And then after I'm done talking about that, I'm going to give the updated version of what Ret should be using for single target and what Ret should be using for AOE. So, I'm generally very positive about Blizzard and about the game, just generally speaking. It's not always been love from me. I did quit playing during Mr. Pandemic because I wasn't having fun. I thought there was way too many daily quests to keep yourself up to date, in my opinion, and I couldn't handle it. It was just too much. It felt like too many chores, and so I did not. So I ended up quitting, and played very little at the beginning, and I played a little bit at the very end of that expansion, but largely didn't play. And then I think the next lowest point for me would have been Shadowlands, definitely, but specifically 9.1 with Korthia. That was definitely another low point. And one of the low points ended up being the Shards of Domination and how terrible of a system that really was. It was pretty much the worst parts about tier sets. And then like very little of the good parts, and then like some extra bad stuff too. So it was the domination shard system was very bad. Now this Onyx Amulet system is very similar to that. You have to use a special thing to take your stones out. I don't know if you stock it over if it destroys the stone. I haven't tried that. I don't want to try that. But there was like a way you could destroy your stones before as well, which was terrible. And I'm not even going to try it. I don't even want to try it. I would hope that's not the case though. And so, they institute the system and people sim everything out, figure everything out, and they find the best combinations. And then after people have already spent their currency, this is a limited currency that you have to get from doing the Viscara vaults or whatever. And so people have already spent their currencies and put their currency into these certain gems, and then Blizzard highly changes what the gems do and stuff like that. I think this was a huge miss by them. This should have been tuned on the PTR. Like people had tested this, everything was known. The interaction, I heard high-end people talking about the interaction, at least a week, if not a couple weeks before it went live. And that interaction ended up being intended. That's an intended interaction. And there's a pastel stone that has an intended interaction as well. So it's like an intended interaction. It's not like a big deal. Like they didn't mind that. The stones were just literally tuned terribly. Some of them entirely too weak and some of them entirely too strong. Now, the good news is that for the most part, like the combo's still good. So if you put your stuff into the prophetic and the desirous, then you're still on track there. But if you put your stuff into the humming and you had to like search for the humming by talking to this vendor here, and you'll keep buying an arcane one or whatever, if you had to search for your humming stone, then you might have wasted a lot of currency on a humming stone that then got nerfed dramatically, like so bad that it's not even good anymore. So, I think that's a huge drop of the ball by them. I don't like seeing it. I'm not a doomer by any means. I don't think just because they make a mistake that means everything's going to be a mistake afterwards. But for me, this is their first mistake of Dragonflight, really. It's the first time like playing the game has made me feel bad, like that I wasted my time. And in this case, it was because I did have to kind of farm for my arcane stone with the limited currency. And, I wasted it. And, I ended up, so I did manage to have the stuff I need for single target for raid, but I do not have a storm infused stone because I didn't have enough resources to them farm for that. With the rolling on the gems for AOE. So I don't have a setup for Mythic Plus this week on my ring, but I did manage to still have a single target setup. And another point I think I heard Dratnos make is it's not the hugest deal in the world because this is like a mini system. This goes away, essentially at the next patch in 2 or 3 months or whatever. It's not like a big deal. It's not like game-changing mess up or like life-changing mess up or anything like that. But it is a little bit weary because you would like to see this not happen. Not have a currency. Like they should have did some sort of... Like they can track how many things we spent. They should have did something where you could get some of your stuff back or something. Or everybody gets a free 50 fragments or whatever. Something like that. Just something to kind of... to lessen that pain or the feeling of wasting your time. So I am a little worried about it. I'm not terribly worried yet. We'll see. With 10.1, hopefully there's no systems like this even in it. And if there is, they better, it can't have like this currency that's tied to it that's limited, and then you tune the thing and that limited thing is no longer good. Like that cannot be something that goes forward. Like that cannot be a system. It's terrible. It feels terrible for the player. So on that note, again, I'm normally very positive, but I think it needed to be said. Let's talk about the updated version of the Primordial stones for Ret Paladins. And we'll talk about Single Target, then we'll talk about like AOE, Mythic Plus, and yeah. So I wanted to say, first of all, thank everyone for watching that video. It's one of my better Ret guides in a while as far as like performance. Not necessarily my best performance, but very good engagement and stuff like that. Thanks everybody for watching. Most people really enjoyed it. Some people are kind of mean, but that's just YouTube. That's just the internet. It's not a big deal. So thank everybody for that. I didn't go too deep on the Onyx Amulet because I didn't want to talk about the interaction at the time because I thought it might get fixed because people thought it was unintended. But it turns out I think it is actually intended. Like this was something that they knew players could find out and they could min-max it or whatever. So for Single Target, I did mention the correct setup for Single Target. When I did it, I mentioned it, but I said that the basic best Single Target was Ice, Fire, and Humming. Well, Humming obviously that's the arcane one I was talking about previously, got nerfed to the ground. So that it already wasn't the best combination, but this combo is obviously the best combination. What's this combo? I've mentioned this combo. Twilight Stone and Bloodstone. So Desire's Bloodstone and Prophetic Twilight Stone. So what happens here is the healing effects, the healing effects trigger damage effects, and damage effects trigger the healing effects. So when Bloodstone goes, it triggers the healing of Bloodstone, and then that healing which is also damage, it triggers the damage of the Ice Stone in this case. So your best combination for Single Target, straight Single Target, is going to be the combination of Desirous Bloodstone, Prophetic Twilight, and Freezing Ice. And again, these two just work in a way where since the Bloodstone is both healing and damage, it's essentially just triggering whatever your third gem is a lot, as much as it can trigger internal cooldowns and stuff like that. So it's going to trigger your Ice Stone as much as possible, and your Ice Stone is just going to do the most single target damage for you. It was the Humming Arcane Stone, but now it's the Freezing Ice Stone. So this combination is going to be best for single target. Now, I do not have the best AOE stone, like I mentioned at the top here, but you're going to get that from the Nature Stone. So you're going to want to buy a Nature Stone if you don't have it. It is called the, let's find it here, the Storm Infused Stone. The Storm Infused Stone is the one you want. It's going to come from Nature. I did double check this just to make sure. I ran simulations myself, and I looked at what top people in Mythic Plus are using. The top key is using this combination. The top Ret key, I should say, is using this combination. It's the combo plus the Storm Infused. So when you go to switch from single target to multi-target, you're going to pop out your Ice Stone and put your Storm Infused Stone in. Now there is another good AoE combination that's at least competitive, and that's a Pastel Stone mixed with the Storm Infused Stone that I don't have and the Pestilent Stone that I don't have. Now, I do only mention this because it is within a few hundred DPS, and if you want to simulate it yourself for your character, you can feel free to do so. Just to let you know what it is again, since I don't actually have the gems. It's the Pestilent Stone, it's the Storm Infused Stone still, those are two AoE stones, and it's a Pastel Stone, and that one does like an interaction as well. It makes like one of your stones trigger, essentially. And so it's just not quite as good as the other combination. In this case, but it's still, it might be worth simulating because in this case, the Pestilent Stone is almost as strong as the Storm Infused Stone. So you have two really good stones for AoE, and then this other stone's like kind of triggering them back and forth. And so that's what the Pastel Stone does. And so you can simulate that if you like, but what the best like Ret and Mythic Plus, or not best Ret, but like, well, maybe they are, the highest key completed for Ret is using the combination, the Desirous Blood, Prophetic Twilight, with the Storm Infused Stone. That's what I'm going to get. So as soon as I can, which might not be till next week at this point, because I have rolled a few times with my remaining stuff and have not got it. So you would want to get a Nature Stone and roll a Storm Infused Stone. I don't know all of them off the top of my head. Like, some of them are pretty obvious what they are. Like, if it's Arcane, it's pretty obvious. The Ice Stone is the Nature, I believe, as well. I'm not sure. I don't want to tell you guys that because I'm not sure. I think it's Nature just from reading. Oh no, it's obviously Frost. I didn't even see that. Of Frost magic. So the Ice Stone's obviously Frost magic. Flame Licked is obviously fire magic. You know, some of them are pretty obvious. If you don't know where to get the stone, like what to roll, I would definitely suggest looking that up first because I do not have that memorized. I just wanted to tell you guys the correct combos because in my Ret guide I just gave you the very safe one and then didn't know about if this Desirous Blood Prophetic Twilight was going to move forward, but it appears it will be. So just one last time for any kind of clarification: Single Target, Desirous Blood, Prophetic Twilight, Freezing Ice. And then for AOE, again, Desirous Blood, Prophetic Twilight, but then Storm Infused Stone as your third one that you want to be triggering. So those are the best combinations for Ret, at least as of now. And, you know, like I said, I simulated some other ones myself. I looked at other people's successes as well. And, you know, that seems to be the case. So I'm pretty confident saying that. It's very crappy what Blizzard did. I'm sorry to anyone else who wasted your currency or whatever. I know how it feels because that happened to me. You know, I had to waste quite a bit on that Humming Arcane, and it really set me back a lot. And I'm not going to sit here honestly and farm the event every 2 hours or whatever and just hope to get the right stone or something. That's not really what I'm going to do. So it is what it is, I guess. So that's it for this one, guys. As always, I do ask you to please subscribe. Again, thank you for all the support. It's been really great. And other than that, everybody have a good one.